The following is brought to you by PaulAkers.net.
Hey everyone, Paul Akers. You know what? I have some exciting news for you. This is going to be an amazing video series that Glenn Bostock did from SnapCab along with Steven. Now, Steven and Glenn went to Japan with me, and what Glenn thought to do, which was amazing, is record everything that happened in Japan. He put a microphone on me so we have good audio, and he made a video series. There's 17 videos currently. There might be more coming, professionally edited, of Steven and Glenn talking about what they learned and then putting B-roll over the top, obviously, of my teaching during the Japan study mission. Now, nobody's ever done that before. Glenn's been to Japan 3 times. Steven, it was his first time that he's been there. And Glenn said, you know, I want to document this so that I have this as a training vehicle for all of my people. And then Glenn generously gave those videos to me to post on the internet so all of you could watch them. So they're unlisted at this point because there's a lot of sensitive information. We go to a lot of factories in Japan. We're really not supposed to post that publicly, but if it's done internally, it's okay. So right now they're all enlisted, so don't go post them on your Facebook page or anything like that, but you can use them internally for all your training. They're there to help you. And a lot of you might not be able to go to Japan with me. I would love all of you to go, but not everyone can go. And this way you kind of get to go to Japan without going to Japan, if you will. So Glenn, Steven, wow, you are amazing. What a great vision. Glenn, you are an extraordinary leader. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for both your leadership, your vision to do this, and your leadership in your company. SnapCab's an amazing company. I even want to make a comment here, and then I'm going to shut up and you can watch the 17 video. Richard Shingo, we just lost Richard Shingo. Richard Shingo came all over the United States and Puerto Rico. I brought him everywhere in the U.S. to about 30 different companies. He went to SnapCab, and I asked Richio, so of all the companies that you went to, what were you most impressed with? He said, oh, definitely SnapCab. Glenn, your team, you're amazing. Here's the video series. Enjoy. It'll be a playlist. It'll just go from one to the next. Great training material for your morning meeting. Thanks a lot, everyone. Glenn, thank you.
Hi, my name is Steve. I'm the lean trainer at SnapCab in Canada, and I'm here with Glenn, the founder and CEO of SnapCab, and we are sharing stories from a recent trip to Japan. We went with Paul Akers and his 2-second lean experience. So Glenn, what are we seeing here in this video?
This is a talk based on Paul Akers' book, Banish Sloppiness, Embrace Precision.
Right, and so we traveled to Japan. We didn't travel to Brazil or Sweden or China. We went to Japan for a specific reason.
Because Paul has found over the years that the Japanese have embraced precision over sloppiness, and he explains why in this talk. And if you want to learn more, read his book, Banish Sloppiness and Embrace Precision.
You're here to gain a new understanding of a different culture that most of you have never experienced before. Glenn, are you the only one that's been here before? Anybody else been here before? 2 people, 3 people? Okay, so, and the goal is what? Banish sloppiness. Exactly. You want to banish sloppiness and fall in love with precision. This is where you see precision here. You see the way the Japanese do things. It's very precise. Okay, continually learning. So 2-second lean was 1.0. Banish sloppiness is now the next level. Really tuning your eyes into seeing what's going on. So don't be critical. Most important advice that I learned from Brad Smith, my sensei, when I came here 23 years ago, is he said, Paul, don't be critical. Let me explain. The Japanese are doing so many unbelievable things. They do some really stupid stuff. But if you focus on that stupid stuff, you are going to miss the magic of everything that's going on in this country, because it is unbelievable. And I took that to heart. So I don't walk around Japan going, oh, they're not so good. Look at that stupid stuff. Look at that, look at that, look at that. I don't do that. I see it. I don't see much of it. I see it. But what I really focus on is stuff like this. I see the excellence, the subway system. I see the excellence in the business, the respect, people getting off the subway, letting other people get on. I see this. I don't see this dignified culture anywhere in the world. I don't care where I am. I don't see this. So I'm not critical. Don't be critical. You'll lose it. Big eyes, big ears. So much to notice, as we saw down here on the job site. So, and then no excuses. You saw what happened at the end of the war. I mean, this city was leveled. It was an inferno, as the guy described. There was nothing left. And today, Japan's cities are the most beautiful, clean, well-run, well-organized cities in the world. So there's no excuses. No like, well, you know, my culture, my people don't get it. It's really kind of hard. Come on. What these people overcame is more than any of us will ever have to deal with in our entire lifetime. And they pulled it off. Really, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you're asking. So the question I've been asking the whole time is, why is Japan Japan? Why? What are they doing differently? So we want to know what people are thinking. So Richio Shingo told me this when he came to my facility, and he came to Glenn's facility as well. And you should know that Richio Shingo, when he went to about 30 different companies, I brought Richio Shingo, the president of Toyota China and son of Shigeo Shingo, I brought him to the United States. And he traveled all the United States to about 30 companies. Glenn's was one of the companies. And the number one, and he came to my company too. And the number one company was Glenn's company. He always talks about Glenn. He says, wow, what SnapCab is doing is amazing. And when he came into my company, he didn't say one positive thing. He was there for 2 days, not one positive thing. And I didn't expect him to, because he wasn't there to tell me how good I was. He was there to help me fix my processes. And it didn't offend me. And I've got a very close relationship with Richio. He's awesome. And Richio told me that the reason we want you to ask questions, because this is how we know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're thinking right now if you're not asking questions. The minute you start asking questions, I understand your process and what's going on in your mind. So you want to encourage people, ask questions. Okay? And who are the Japanese people? They are crazy, freaking crazy.
Go! さあ、スタート！あ、もうこんな時間。よいしょ。起きないと。子供ってなかなか起きないのよね。本当に、そんな時は。あれ、どうすんの？よいしょ。おっと？おっと、これは？お子さんがズボンをまさか履きながら。いけないと。はい、4分。わあ！
And then who are the Japanese people? This is Richio Shingo in my facility when I brought him on the tour, sitting with an 18-year-old kid at an injection molding machine with a suit on a plastic stool for 2 days, solving a problem in injection molding. This is the president of Toyota China. This guy reports directly to the president of Toyota worldwide, Akio Toyota. And this is what he's doing. He's an American teaching in the United States for maybe 20 years now. And we didn't know he was at this school that we've been visiting, and we saw him. One of the people saw him and struck up a conversation. He came in and spoke to our group. And I think, Sahisa, you asked the question, what were the values? What did you ask? In the children. There you go. There they are in black and white. Ganbarimasu. I will do my best. Okay? Yakusoku Mamori. I will keep my promise. If we could just get these two principles into our culture, it became over. Think about that. If you just went home and taught these two principles, I will do my best and I'll keep my promise. Okay? So general information, they're very isolated. They're an isolated island. Japan, 45,000 square miles. California, 172. 3 times more dense. From 1955, you read in the book, to 75, they grew at 435%. Never in human history has the economy ever grown like this. This has never happened before. So general information about Japan. It's a very small country. You overlay it over the United States, you can see the size there. Japan, 127 million people. The useful farmland, the size of West Virginia, super small. So you got to feed a lot of people in a very small area. They're all mountains. It's 75% mountains. So now what does that constraint makes you have to be very efficient in the way you do things. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to survive. So I contend that one of the reasons why Japan is so great, I don't think their DNA is different than anyone else's, yours or mine. I think they've had some constraints with the geography, the weather, the volcanoes, the earthquakes, and all those things have caused them to be much more resourceful in order to survive. Dr. Victor David Hanson is amazing. He studies civilization. I just read a book about him, about civilization. Luxury makes you lazy. So the more accoutrements you get in your life, you kind of start sitting back on your laurels. But in Japan, the earth shakes. The tsunamis come. They can't afford to sit back. They always got to be a little bit on edge, so it makes them much more resourceful. Even though they have all this wealth, they have these constraints around them. They're in an island in the middle of nowhere with no resources. They got China breathing down their neck. You know, they haven't got some of the things that the luxuries that the rest of us have, and as a result, they're much more scrappy.
So that was an excellent talk that Paul gave there. What were some of the things you got from it?
Yeah, I guess reflecting on how the geography had a big impact on shaping the Japanese people, some of the constraints they had there. Like when we were there, we got to experience a small earthquake, but also the history, their involvement in World War II and how much the country was really destroyed. So that had a big impact on shaping them.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I really thought was amazing, as kids, they're taught, I'll do my best and I'll keep my promise. I thought, wow, those two values would lead to an outstanding country if everybody was doing that.
Yeah, it really was unique that way, that they had this kind of one shared ideal that everybody in Japan kind of held to. And it really, when they teach it to them as a young age and kind of as they're growing, it really shaped them as a culture on the whole.
It was neat how the constraints of the country made them grow such a strong culture.
Yeah, you mean like constraints on not much farming land, or that the natural disasters that could easily affect them?
That's right. And I know they had to work as a group to produce rice that they can all eat. You know, they had to work together as a team.
Yeah.
And I could see, you know, at SnapCab we have our own constraints. You know, we're a company, but it's not that different than a country. You know, we have our own constraints. We only have so much capital to work with. You know, I think people feel stretched in different ways, so we want to make the most of what we have here.
For a fuller explanation of lean, we recommend 2 Second Lean by Paul Akers. And for more on the Japan experience, we recommend Banishing Sloppiness. Both of these audiobooks can be found for free on the Lean Play app.